and they dump the barrels through these coffee filters that filters out all the
residuals,
chunks of stuff. There's another name for it. While I'm talking, you should be thinking or Googling or doing something. Something useful besides laughing my ass. So anyway. Coming to you more alive than dead. 10 steps down from Washington Street in glorious downtown Greenville, South Carolina. We're coming to you from the Trap Door, the world-renowned Trap Door. And we're here for this episode of It's Just Bourbon. I'm with my good buddy here, Big John Richards. I'm Russ Heaps. And what we do is we grab a bourbon or a rye or something in that family. We sniff it, we sip it, we kibitz about it. Sometimes we talk a little bit about the distillery if we know anything about it. Neither one of us know a whole heck of a lot about distilling, so that normally isn't a topic that we broach. But
unless we're feeling froggy.
Yeah, which I am to some extent right now. I don't know, I can't speak for John because he can hold a little bit more than I can, but we've been doing this all day. Anyway.
For you.
Yes. So anyway, what we have for you, because we're dedicated to our art. So what we have here is from Glenns Creek Distilling, and it's OCD Premium.
Premium.
Is it called Premium?
Yep.
I keep thinking
it says it on the back,
I
too.
know, I saw that, but I keep thinking it's called Preferred, but it's Premium. So we'll get into a little bit more about what that is as we go along here. But Glenns Creek is a boutique distillery that is on the same property as the original Old Crow distillery was. That's been closed now for, I don't know, X number of years.
If you're anything like me, OCD stands for Old Crow Distillery.
Yes, but although
it took me a minute.
Yeah, when my buddy David bought the place, he bought everything but the actual name, which Old Granddad owns the name, but he owns the 9 or 10 buildings and the 20 or 30 acres of property. Does the whole thing in what used to be the Old Crow bottling building. That's where he does everything but age. He ages around the property some other places, but the making, the distilling, the bottling, the whole thing is, and if you go up there for a tour, the whole thing is in this one building. This is the bread and butter of his distillery. Or this isn't, but OCD number 5 is. And it's made with, as this is, and we'll get into a little more about how this is done, but OCD number 5 is actually made with yeast that they originally used in Old Crow. And it's following a recipe they have that they found for Old Crow. And they've got a consultant who used to be the distiller at Old Crow. So a lot of this has some Old Crow history to it. What they do is when they bottle a barrel of OCD 5, there's a little bit of stuff left in the bottom of the barrel. It's, just, I'm trying to think, what do you call the stuff that's in the bottom of
Residual?
anything? Residual stuff, but there's another name for it.
Residue?
No. Well, you're going to be no help to me on this. So zero zip. Anyway,
leftovers.
It's whatever sinks into the bottom of things, and What they do then is they hand filter that. And they use industrial size coffee filters. And they dump the barrels through these coffee filters that filters out all the
Residuals.
chunks of stuff. There's another name for it. While I'm talking, you should be thinking or Googling or doing something. Something useful besides laughing my ass. So anyway, what they do is they filter that out, and then they take that and dump it into another barrel. And they dump the next barrel, they dump that and dump that and dump that. And then that barrel sits for another year or two, and they bottle this. They do one barrel a year, one. You only can buy it by invitation. The only people who get invited to buy it are people who've been to the distillery, visited the distillery more than once, and signed the guest book. And they don't send it, they don't deliver it, you've got to come back and pick it up. And out of a barrel of bourbon, you get about 140, 150 of these bottles. And when I was there, we sat through one of the tours, a buddy of mine, and when we were done, he said, "You guys stick around, I've got a couple of things I want to pour for you." One of them was this, and he says, "I've got one bottle left," and I bought it. It's $150 a bottle. Almost everything he does, pretty much everything he does is barrel strength. So it comes out of the barrel somewhere between usually 112 and 115 proof. And this is 113.6. Price $150. John,
It's exciting. Let's taste it.
let's have a sip. Text Miss Lily.
Boy, you weren't kidding. That's a lot smokier. This is our second bourbon of today.
But
Oh yeah, you smell all the wood. You smell all the spice out of that. The smoke, the dirt.
yep. And without sipping it, does it feel like a cigar?
No, 100%.
Bourbon here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so
Oh, my God.
First thing that happened was you get that smokiness out of it. Yeah. And again, it's all those earthy flavors: the tobacco, the earth,
Yep.
the leaves, the dirt. You know the.
Yep. Yep. You almost feel like you drink it with a spoon.
Yeah.
And let me just toss in here, Trapdoor is opening up in about 2.5 hours, so there's going to be all kinds of stuff going on around here. Plus, they're remodeling the space upstairs, so we're listening to a saw right now.
Jackhammering the wood floors.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's dark. It's just all those. This is where we're talking butterscotch on the first one. This is deeply caramelized. This is really burnt bread crust. When I make pudding, I make banana pudding. It's one of my signature things that I make. That I think
I've never had it, but and I've known him for 10 years, but that's okay.
it may have been that long since I've made it. But when you make your own pudding on a stovetop and you're cooking the pudding down, and some of it gets burned to the bottom of the pan, and this smells like that.
This is such a terrific, I don't know, I'm a writer and I can't come up with the words that.
Neither can they. Somebody may have just died.
Yeah, sounds like they're, heck, you may not even be able to hear that, but boy, it's loud. This is just so deep and rich.
Yeah, it's super rich. It's all those big earthy flavors. And in beer we talk about barnyard flavors, but this is more like musty, earthy, like compost pile flavors. or aromas, the flavors are different because then you get into the big caramelized sugar, caramel.
It's kind of like burnt caramel and saddle leather.
Yeah.
And it is, when the bourbon we were drinking before, Castle and Key, their single barrel, John mentioned that he thought that was a good cigar bourbon. And I said, oh, the next one we've got coming up, which is this, is a real.
Right. Well, I qualified that by saying before, it's a good cigar bourbon, but it's for a very mild cigar.
Right.
This is for a very big cigar.
Yeah. Everything about this just screams big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big and dark.
Yeah, you want the biggest, darkest, angriest, spiciest cigar you can find to go with this. Oh yeah, water. I forgot the water.
I had originally, when I bought this, here, you can do this, I'm going to talk a minute.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Originally, when I bought this, I wanted to open it on camera. However, I was in Nashville about 3 weeks ago with my fraternity brothers, and it was the 50th anniversary of our graduation from college, which means it was the 54th anniversary of us being friends. And I thought, what better way to salute that and cheers that than with this? So I opened it up for that. But
Solid.
I am,
Real talk.
and I put water in it then as well, and I can't remember whether that was a good move or not.
Well, sometimes we like it better with, and sometimes we like it better
Right.
without. But you don't ever know till you try.
Right, but this is such a smooth, big whiskey that
See,
without
with
the water, that
With the water, I feel like I'm getting a little fruit now, like blackberries or plums or maybe blueberries. It's blueberries. I think I'm getting blueberries. Along with all the other things, and all of that's still there. It actually knocks some of the edge of the spiciness off the front, but it leaves me with more spice in the back, and I'm getting that fruitiness up front, which I'm equating to blueberry. And actually, some professional may slap me in the face for this, but it actually reminds me of blueberry cereal.
I'm not a professional. I may slap you in the face for that. But I didn't think you'd kick my ass.
But it does. Smell it.
It's not as dynamic with the water, with a couple of drops of water in it, but it is every bit as good, and
I think
and
it's-
it allows you, I think, to get it. I'm getting more toffee and caramel out of this with a little bit of water in it.
I agree.
Before I was just getting dark, leather and
I think it softens some of the aggressiveness off the big flavors and lets some more of the subtle flavors pop.
My advice to you is make a couple of trips to Glenns Creek, sign the guest register, and get on the list for this, because number one, it's a great tour, which it's much different this time than the first time I took it. When I took it before, you actually got back and wandered around the stills and stuff and got to taste the white juice as it was, where it was here and here and here. There's so much stuff going on back there anymore, they don't do that. He just sits at a table and talks to you. But, oh my gosh, it is a great tour, and you can ask him anything, and you can sit there, he'll sit there with you for an hour and a half, the guy that owns it, and talk to you about his stuff. The tours are top out at about 8 people. Let me tell you, it's a great, if you're on the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky, wander off the Bourbon Trail and go to Glenns Creek, because it's a good tour.
Thank you for sharing.
Can you think of anything else?
Thank you for sharing.
Well, okay. So damn lucky. See you next time.